Hey there, everyone, and welcome into another edition of Devils in Detail. I'm Scotty Gange. He is Killian McClatchey, and we've got tons of ASU athletics to cover today.
It's a big week for ASU athletics, as you mentioned. Baseball started off their season, and softball's on a nice winning streak of themselves. Hockey is nearing the close of their season, and we have the second Devils in Detail athlete of the week. This is Devils in Detail.
Well, there were no parties in Tempe Thursday night as Arizona State fell 77-70 to the Arizona Wildcats. We are now joined by Devils in Detail basketball analyst Trevor Booth to help break down the Sun Devils' Territorial Cup loss. And Trevor, Arizona jumped ahead 33-15 to start the game. What was really going right for them?
Well, obviously, Scotty, it started on the offensive end for the Wildcats. They made 10 of their first 12 shots, and it seemed like every player was being able to contribute. But I think it really started with Sean Miller's team being able to push the tempo on the defensive end. They really got after Arizona State's guards at the top of the key and wouldn't let them penetrate at all, and it forced a lot of turnovers in areas where the Sun Devils weren't able to score on offense.
And so with Arizona jumping ahead early, Arizona State was able to run on a 23-6 run. What really made them turn the tides?
I think it started with Cody Justice. He really got hot in that game, and that was really good to see after last week against the Los Angeles Schools. He had his struggles early on, and it was the Sun Devils playing free, which is what we've seen a lot from the non-conference play, is their ability to play free and get up on their opponents, and they were able to cut the lead down from 18 to just 1 at the end of the first half.
And although it was a streaky game, it was also back and forth. So for you, what do you think was the true turning point in the game?
I think the true turning point came at the 9:21 mark here in the second half, and it was a missed dunk by Shannon Evans in transition. And that was a really key turning point because at the time, Arizona had come back from a deficit that the Sun Devils had put them in early on to go up 1, and then Shannon Evans misses that dunk. All of a sudden, Arizona goes down to the other end, gets an offensive rebound, and Raleigh Elkins converts a three-point play. And just like that, it's a two-possession game that the Sun Devils are down in. And if you're in a Territorial Cup game, the mistakes have to be limited in situations like that. And it's key plays like this that were able to turn the tide of the game for the Wildcats.
Well, ASU will travel to play the 2 Oregon schools this weekend. And Trevor, thank you for joining us. All of his work. You can go online to devilsindetail.com. And as the men lost Thursday night, the women won Friday night. And I was there to catch the full game recap. Friday night, the University of Arizona Wildcats traveled north to play the Arizona State Sun Devils in Wells Fargo Arena for the annual Territorial Cup. As the game began, Robbie Ryan wasted no time heating up as she dropped a deep 3-ball on the first possession of the game. As Ryan was hitting the shots, Courtney Ekmark was picking the pockets, finishing the night with 5 total steals. But it wasn't just them two, as Jamie Rudin, Sophia Alenga, Charney Johnson-Tapman, and Kiana Ibis all scored hard-fought points in the paint. The Wildcats weren't going down without a fight, though, as they nailed shots from beyond the arc and crashed the glass to trail by just 4 points at the half.
But I think, at halftime, frankly, they just knew that they weren't playing hard enough and they weren't playing the way they can play.
The Devils answered with one of their best quarters of 2018, outscoring Arizona by 20 points. Ekmark and Ryan were hitting on all cylinders as they combined for 41 total points.
I mean, this is our house, and we don't ever want to lose here. We definitely defend this place like it's our house.
But it wasn't just the starting offense that scored all those points. The Sun Devil bench put up 18 of their own. The full circle dominance proved to be far too much for the Wildcats as ASU took the W 75-50. I'm joined alongside Carson Field here at the McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona, on campus of the University of Arizona, as the Arizona State Sun Devils just took down the Wildcats for the second time this season by a score of 69-45. And Carson, just looking at tonight's game, what did the Sun Devils do well?
The Sun Devils did a lot of things well, Scotty. They shot the ball well, especially from 3. Their percentage was outstanding, and a lot of great contributions from Robbie Ryan, Jamie Rudin, Kiana Ibis, as they were 3 of the key players. They also played really good defense, and that ultimately led to the win over their in-state rival in Arizona.
Robbie Ryan with 10 rebounds and 9 points tonight, and you spoke a little bit about Jamie Rudin. What did she really bring to the table and help the Sun Devils tonight?
Rudin did a really good job off the bench, coming in and shooting a couple threes in the second quarter to get the crowd and the players energized, give them a little bit more momentum. And even when she wasn't on the court, she was being a leader off the court on the bench. She was doing really good and energized, and that helped the team get some momentum.
The Sun Devils will play the 2 Oregon schools next weekend, and Carson, with all the momentum coming from this weekend beating their rival twice, what is going to bring to the table for that?
It will be a really tough weekend for the Sun Devils because Oregon and Oregon State are both in the top 15. They're both really good. They're both really good women's basketball teams, so it won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Oregon will be a really tough game for the Sun Devils. They are the number 9th ranked team in the nation, and they are one of the best defenses in college basketball and probably the best in the Pac-12. So that might be a loss for the Sun Devils. Probably going to be a little bit iffy, but I think the Devils have a good chance against Oregon State. They're number 15 in the nation, and the Sun Devils played them really well last time in Corvallis. So definitely will be interesting to see ASU against them once again.
The Sun Devils will wrap up their regular season next weekend facing those Oregon schools. And Carson, thank you for joining me here in the McKale Center on campus of University of Arizona. And guys, back to you in the studio.
ASU baseball opened the season with 4 games against Miami of Ohio and split the series this weekend. In an odd one that saw opening day pushed back due to the fact that Miami could not get to Phoenix on time because of the weather in the Midwest, Tracy Smith had a hard time with his former team in the first game of the series. But thanks to freshman Spencer Torkelson and 2 home runs in game number 2, the Devils evened the series on Saturday. Sunday brought a 10 a.m. first pitch and a dominant performance by Boyd Vanderkoy, who threw 7 innings of 1-run baseball en route to an 11-1 win. The finale was a rough one, though, as the Sun Devils got doubled up 16-8 and are left with a .500 winning percentage to start off the campaign. Next week, the Devils host St. Mary's for 3 games starting on Friday. Now, moving from the baseball diamond to the softball diamond. The Arizona State softball team is on a nice run as they've won 9 straight. We welcome in ASU softball analyst Matt Stolboff to break down what this team has done well so far. Welcome in, Matt.
Hey, Killian, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. Softball's doing good, so it's been fun so far.
There you go. Well, we'll get started here. The Sun Devils are on a 9-game win streak, like I mentioned, and they haven't lost since opening day. What has this team done so well to get on this streak?
Well, big credits to pitching. G-War, she did pitch that opening day game against Tennessee and really did struggle. She gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings, but since has only given up 3 earned runs in 21 innings. She's also been really good at striking guys out. She struck out 9 yesterday against San Diego and leads the team right now with 35. So she's done a really good job so far. And the other pitcher is senior Brianna Maha. She's been great in her first 3 years at ASU. During her senior season, she's 4-0 with a 2.33 ERA, and she's been a great job so far. And we also got to credit the fielding. They've only had 7 errors in 10 of games so far this season. So very disciplined team, very good at fielding, and manager Trisha Ford has done a great job with that team so far and helped them win 9 straight.
All right, now moving on, a big part of this team are the transfers, particularly the Hackbarth twins, Maddie and Kendra, and Morgan Howe from Fresno State. What have they meant to the program in their first season here?
They've been huge for the team, especially offensively. We'll start things off with Morgan Howe. She's batting .581 right now with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Her OBP is .618, which is absolutely insane right now at this time of the year. And the Hackbarth twins, like you mentioned, they've been great as well. Maddie's got a little more power than Kendra. Maddie right now, she leads the team with 17 RBIs. And Kendra, as I said before, more of the hitter, more of the slapper. She's got 3 doubles already, and she's batting .500. So all 3 players have been huge contribution for the team offensively, and hopefully they continue things on forward.
So, huge weekend coming up for this team as they face Mississippi State, a tournament team, and the defending national champions, Oklahoma. Give us a little bit of a preview of the weekend.
Yeah, as you said, those 2 teams, those are huge matchups for Arizona State. Mississippi State, they're 8-1. They're probably going to be ranked this week after a couple of things that happened throughout the entire NCAA college softball. They've only given up 4 runs the entire season, so their pitching's absolutely phenomenal. So look out for them. Arizona State plays them first on Thursday in the Mary Another tournament at Palm Springs. And then Oklahoma, as you mentioned, defending national champs. They did lose to BU last week, but they're still a very good team. Key player to watch is Paige Parker. She's a senior pitcher. She's given up no runs in her 4 starts so far this season. So 2 very tough competitions that Arizona State's going to face this weekend.
Certainly. Thanks, Matt. Great stuff as always. Be sure to keep an eye on devilsindetail.com all weekend long for updates on the softball team. Now, Scotty has Ethan Schmidt with him to discuss the ASU hockey team.
Well, it's time to discuss some Arizona State hockey, and that is why we have our very own Devils in Detail hockey analyst Ethan Schmidt in with us today as ASU split a 2-game series this weekend with Michigan Tech. And Ethan, what were some of your immediate takeaways from this weekend?
Well, Scotty, Friday I saw a lot of life out of the Sun Devils. They competed hard, 2 unanswered goals to send the game into overtime and get the big victory on the road against Michigan Tech. That put them at 2-0 all time against the Huskies. But then Saturday night, the Sun Devils come out, they're sloppy, turnovers, bad penalties, tons of penalties happen in Saturday's game, and that's just been the case of the Sun Devils all season. They're really good in one game and just can't quite get it done in the other game. So definitely going forward, that's something that they really need to take care of.
That loss on Saturday night gives ASU just 1 win in their past 8 games. And so, Ethan, what has really gotten them into this funk, and how can they get out of it?
Yeah, Scotty. I mean, the Sun Devils had that huge win in the first ever Ice Vegas Invitational back at the beginning of January, but it's just been all downhill since. I mean, 1 win against UMass Lowell, and then the victory you mentioned on Friday, but other than that, it's just hasn't been there for the Sun Devils. And granted, they play tough teams, but this team has struggled with penalties all season long, and it was kind of the way it was last season. And even with Joey DeCord in net, he's been solid. He can't take up that whole 6x4 frame. And when you turn it over in your own zone, bad things are going to happen. So the Sun Devils just have to get tougher. And they're a young team, so we'll see leaders start to bud as the team grows.
And so now looking forward, this weekend, Arizona State will have their final regular season series in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And so, Ethan, how do you think the Sun Devils can really match up to the Michigan Wolverines?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan is a tough team, historically been a powerhouse in college hockey for forever. So it's going to be a tough road test for the Sun Devils. Their season finale, we'll have to see what happens. I look at a player like Johnny Walker. The freshman is hot. He has 13 goals. He's top 10 in the nation in goal scoring as a freshman. And Joey DeCord has to have a huge series yet again, as he's done all season.
Well, thank you, Ethan, for joining us. Once again, Arizona State will wrap up their regular season this weekend in Ann Arbor. And we can't conclude our show without truly tipping our cap to one of the greatest Sun Devil accomplishments in 2018. So this week's Player of the Week is really going to be Coach of the Week, as this afternoon, Sheila McInerney earned her 500th career win as the women's tennis head coach. McInerney has been coaching in Tempe for 34 years, and in speaking with her after the game, she described to me that her greatest true accomplishment was the relationships she has made over her career rather than her wins. Congratulations, Coach. You are a legend.
500 wins. That is a crazy accomplishment from Coach McInerney.
Only 1 in 6 coaches in ASU history to do so, Killian.
Only 6?
Yep, 6.
Wow. Well, a tip of the cap, I guess. I think that's really the only thing that we can do. But on that note, that's all that we've got for you here at Devils in Detail. For Scotty Gange, my name is Killian McClatchey. Be sure you follow all of Devils in Detail's content on devilsindetail.com, and we'll see you all next time.